How long does bankruptcy stay on your credit report? Well, I have a lot to say about this because I actually think bankruptcy is one of the greatest United States tools to restructure companies. And a lot of people say, well, you should never go through them. And I agree. I don't think anyone should go through them without a serious education, a long conversation with me, my legal team, and really give you the real pros and cons, not what the internet says, the lovely bathroom wall, because it's got a lot of bad stuff. There is some okay stuff about it. And for some of you that have just blown it, like you didn't do a lot right financially, it might be your click your button to restart. The problem with that is you're leaving a ton of people behind who trusted you, supported you, and you said you paid them. So I actually have a huge integrity issue with it. But let's go through the facts. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the differences between a 7 and a 13. There's a couple other kinds of bankruptcies, but those are the big two. Number two, how long does each stay on your credit report? And what do you do if it's a company and you're taking a company through? Different when you take yourself through if you're taking a company through it. And then number three, what are the strategies for removing a bankruptcy once you've gone through it and the time periods lapse, because it just doesn't come off. If you're personally involved in it, or if in the company, it doesn't matter. And if you stay all the way to the end, I'm going to give you some strategies at how do you keep yourself out so you can just take the company through and keep you healthy and whole. And a lot of you don't know how to do it, and you're getting totally misinformed by those lovely debt relief agencies who would love to restructure your debt at an ungodly huge cost, which is ridiculous. So first, let's talk about the difference between a 7 and a 13. So a 7 is a walk away. Right? It's like everything couldn't be worse. Like you're going to close it all down. You get a little few things that the government allows you to keep. Like you do get to keep your personal home. You get to keep a few things, but otherwise you're turning it all in. That means your credit cards. That means if you have other assets, you put it all at risk by doing it and doing a walk away. So again, I have integrity issues with that. This is my personal judgment, but you can do whatever you want. And sometimes I've taken clients through it because the hole they dug financially for themselves was so deep and so risky and such a disaster. And a lot of times those happen during divorce. So not a cool thing. 13s, now there's an 11 too. Those are like a restructuring. So you do have to pay some of the debt, but it's a restructuring of the debt. It's a restructuring of what you owe people. And it's a different way to do it than going through these really expensive, debt refinancing programs. So 13 is an option. I've seen a lot of companies do it to settle deals and use it for legal structures and legal strategies. And again, it does give companies, I can tell you, speakers, you'd be shocked. One in particular has taken 18 companies through bankruptcies because they didn't really live through the infomercial very well. Companies strategically do it to just dump off that part of the company and then restructure the rest. So again, there's a lot to it. You need a specialized bankruptcy attorney, and there's guys who are really good at it, and there's guys who are really bad at it, who are just in it for the money, for themselves to get paid, and don't have your best interests. So that's where I come in and advocate what is your best interest for you and the family, and where do you really want to go once you walk through this thing. And I'm going to get to the amount of years because it's a long walk to make these decisions. So you don't want to do it casually, and you don't want to do it just like, maybe I'll do it. So the duration of a bankruptcy depends on your state, depends on your county, depends on the courts. And right now the courts are backed up across this country. In other countries in the world, I would assume it's just as bad because COVID down for a year when government workers weren't in. It's a huge backup, still getting caught up. So sometimes it could take you a year just to get through the bankruptcy, if not longer. Then here's your big number. How long does it stay on your credit report, whether it's a company or you? 7 years. So I think most of you have known that. So what do you do during that 7 years? You got to have a lot of high finance strategy to get through it, because you've got to continue to make money without having your bank accounts leaned, without having your credit cards taken away. Your credit could take a total dive if you don't do it right. And you put your social security number all over everything, which is why we teach you to live corporate life. And those of you who don't know what I mean by corporate life, you got to go to our Millionaire Intensive and understand how to live corporate life. You can live an employee life and a corporate life. The corporate life allows you so much more benefit, not only when it comes to a bankruptcy conversation, but just to have due deductions and how to have more choices and more credit available than just your social security number. So big difference. And before I tell you how to clear it once the 7 years is up, there's a lot of strategy in between. So again, if you have any questions about how to do it, how do you live through it, how do you get loans during those 7 years, how do you get funding during those 7 years, we are masters at that and helping you get all that done. So go to askloral.com. ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request. We'd love to help support you in whatever deal you're going through. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you're here 5 days a week. Click that notification button. And I don't care if it's a topic you think you might need or not need. This is about money in all categories, business in all categories, taxes, estate planning, legacy building, you name it, I talk about it. And I've been doing it for years on this channel. So support us, share this with a lot of other people who need this conversation, a real conversation with money, who's somebody that's really gonna just talk straight and not give them some big pitch. So the third is, how do you repair it once you're through? So you can hire a company who will go through and clean your credit bureaus. And in your corporate credit, it's done in Bradstreet, and it's a whole nother list of cleaning that has to get done. But you can do the hard thing and write letters and call and say, hey, I'm done. But bankruptcies also affect your bank. And a lot of people don't talk about that. So the minute you actually file for a bankruptcy, your banking now has been restricted. And it's actually on your banking form. You have to go into the bank, you have to sign a whole document, you have to go in and inform your banks that you're going to go through a bankruptcy, but they'll let you keep your account. So thank God for that, because most of the credit cards are actually going to be taken down once you hit the bankruptcy, especially if you owe them money. So they're going to take them away from you, and they're going to try to fight and settle. And whoever actually has secured debt is going to get in line first to take most of the money that they're going to get from you. And you say, well, where are they going to get it? 401ks, stock portfolios, the cash value of insurance, they can take it from there. You'll be shocked how many places they're going to find. They can make you refinance your house, pay it out of there. There's a lot, depends on the state, depends on the county, how this is going to go. How do you repair it after 7 years? Well, first of all, don't do too much damage during the 7 years, which I'd love to make sure and help you with so you don't kill yourself in the process. But after 7 years, it's a huge cleaning, and it's going to take a lot of work. You got to start with your bank, go back to your bank, make sure that your bank records are clean, because if they still have your bankruptcy noted that you're in process, the way they affect you and the way people will look at you is still going to have a hindrance to it. So make sure your number one, your bank gets clean first. Then I'd go back out to some of the credit card companies. We have great companies who will help get that restarted for you. But you're going to have to do a lot of work, unfortunately, to clean those credit reports. So it doesn't matter which credit bureau it is. They're all going to take some work. They're all going to take some time. So again, if you can, I'd hire it while you focus on going to make some new money. Get this taken care of, because you're going to need to get the cleanup so you can get more corporate credit going forward. So hope that was helpful. And again, if you have any questions, go to askloral.com. Love to help you. And go up to that search bar. I have a ton of content on credit cards, credit card use, credit cards as investment cards, and how do you actually do this different and right. We'll be back tomorrow with more content.